Thanks for checking into Bass Musician Magazine. This is Steve, the bass guy, and today what we're going to do is we're going to be visiting our friend Bakithi Kumalo. He's going to be talking about his Kala basses and some of the other projects that he's currently working on. I hope you guys stay tuned because it's going to be a great time. Today we have Bakithi with us with Bass Musician Magazine, and today he's going to be talking about two of his awesome basses. They're both made by Kala, and we have this first one. Would you like to tell us a little bit about this bass and why you like this bass?
First of all, thanks for having me, Steve. And the second thing, this is a very beautiful fretless sound, and it records so well. And also the reason I like this bass is because you can practice without plugging in, because it's an acoustic and very well built by Kala. And I'm just so pleased with it. And it's really comfortable to play. The neck it's right, you know. So it's a beautiful piece of work.
That's awesome. So can you tell me, where have you used this bass in connection with musicians and where you've played with it? Have you used this bass on tour already?
Well, I've used some of the acoustic, but this one I just got it.
Okay, so this is a new model?
This is a new model because Kala now is upgraded. This is new now because of the strings, the round one strings.
Oh, okay.
It makes it different than the poly strings. And these sound much better, like really like a real bass. But the rubber strings is just, you know, they have a different sound. But this is really amazing.
That's awesome. So the older strings were those rubber style strings, right?
Yes.
So it had a different tone, but these are, as you said, they are more of a steel string, right?
Steel string, yeah. Like, you know, like the old school.
Okay.
Like, you know, you get that nice deep sound and also just so bright and proud.
Awesome. And you said, I know when we got here you were changing the battery, so it does have active electronics in it, correct?
Yes. So now you can use the 9-volt. You know, before they used to use one of those round batteries, but now you can use the 9-volt. And you open right here, and then like I just changed the 9-volt battery.
Excellent. So,
and then also too, it's an easy access to change the strings. You just pull this up.
Oh, look at that! Can you give us a little bit closer look at that? Can you bring? Oh, look at that! And so it's a magnetic clasp on that.
Magnetic, yeah. So like when you change the strings, I don't know if you can see the strings.
Yep, we can see right in there. Awesome! Wow, that's really cool to feed through like that.
Yeah.
So are those strings specific to this bass? Does Kala, can you get the strings through Kala's website? Do you know?
Yes. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know?
But the thing is,
okay,
well, about these strings, you cannot put it on the bass that you have that has the rubber strings, because everything has been changed, because those strings are really harder and tight. So that's why the neck, they had to redo the neck. So if you have the bass that you use the rubber strings, I think you should get the one that's built for this kind of strings.
The new model.
Don't change that because you might destroy your neck or something.
Oh, that's good to know. That is really good to know, because that's what my next question was is, can you retrofit the new strings to the old bass?
No, you cannot.
It looks a little bit larger too from the older one. It looks like they made it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, much, you know, playable, and even the frets, they're much bigger size than, you know.
Almost looks like a tenor uke,
yes.
kind of in a way. Yeah,
exactly like tenor.
Cool. Can you play us a little bit? I know you have a new CD out too. That new music is coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, actually the CD is coming today. You know, so we'll be doing streaming on about 9:45 tonight.
That's awesome.
Let's see if I can play the stuff I played on the Graceland stuff. You know, you can play pretty much anything with this bass. You know, from jazz to salsa to African stuff, or you know, whatever the group.
I know there's a local guy around here who uses it in a jazz band. Yeah, he uses it because it has a very upright sounding tone.
Yeah, it's got beautiful tones. Right here you have this. Let's see, let me just take everything flat so you can hear. So that's the volume right there. And then I can add the treble.
So is there there's a 3-band EQ on the bass itself?
Yes. You have your volume and you have the bass, the mid, the treble.
Oh, nice. On the upper bout of the bass.
Yeah. And then also too, you can, tune it, make sure that...
And there's a built-in tuner in there as
tuner.
well.
Yeah.
Very nice. Is
And
that
you can slap too if you want, but you can't break it,
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd want to tell us about this bass before we go on to the other one that's kind of special because it has something?
I'm saying, what can I tell you about this bass? I mean, I just love it, and also, it's beautiful bass, and it's playable, and it's well built, and so you can check out with Kala. They can give you more details about it.
And we'll have a link to their website.
Yes, kalabrand.com.
Okay.
So this is my original signature bass, Bakithi Kumalo U bass. That was built by Kala, I think maybe about 10 years ago. And this has the poly strings. And it's a solid body, fretless, because I really love fretless. And so fretless are much better for ukulele basses because, the strings, they don't have to, 2 bars when they sit on the fret because there's no fret, so it's very smooth sound. So let's check this one.
So can I ask a question about this bass too? So this is a solid body,
Yeah.
and your other one was a hollow body.
The other one was a hollow body.
Okay.
Yeah, acoustic hollow.
Okay. Okay, great. So and so it's a solid body bass, and you've said you've had this one for about 10 years. That's been this model.
This is the very original one.
And this they putting this model out again?
That's the one that's going to be coming out with this type of strings, with the round one strings. So it's in the process.
Excellent.
It's got a different sound. It's got more like a woody sound kind of thing, but
And all these instruments are piezo.
they're all piezo. Yeah,
okay.
This one is piezo, the pickups. And also what's amazing about this bass is that makes that big sound. The strings are sitting on top of the bridge, of that piezo bridge. So when you hit, you just get a beautiful sound from it. And this is the bridge.
And the piezo's underneath the bridge.
Yeah, yeah. And it's good for the things I do. Sometimes I do the percussive thing, like... that kind of thing. This is a beautiful piece of work. And the reason why also too I love this instrument, because it's good for teaching the young people. Because the bigger bass, sometimes it's a problem for the young people to learn. But this is good for the little hands.
Oh,
the big hands too.
that's a really great idea too, because especially if you have young children, sometimes a standard scale bass is not going to work for a younger child.
The more I spend time with it and more I play the bass, and I started to really hear some other things and just understand the bass, because sometimes it's about the instrument. It's not about what you used to, but you have to learn new things. It's like riding a small bicycle. Try to adjust to it. But this is beautiful, and it's good for practice. Like you're on the plane, you can play. It doesn't take a lot of spaces.
Easy to travel with.
Easy to travel.
You find that sometimes limiting the options sometimes creates new observations and new sounds, because it makes you think about things differently than just going back to the same game plan.
Well, yeah, it's about an adjustment. Life is about an adjustment, pretty much. I mean, like for an example, I came from South Africa. Then I had to come to America, to adjust my life. Now it's different than South Africa. So the same thing with the instrument. You get the instrument, you have to adjust to it, and you have to really understand the instrument. You can't just treat like it's a same instrument. You know, you have to really get used to it and know the electronics. That's what I tell all the young people to, like, before you starting to play all kinds of stuff, slapping and doing all kinds of stuff, you have to understand the science of these electronics, because once you understand that, you'll get the sound that you need for yourself. You know, it takes a minute to adjust. It takes time. It takes time, but once you get it, you get your sound. I mean, like, for an example, when I got my fretless in South Africa, I didn't know anything about fretless. You know, but I had to really understand my fretless and learn from the fretless. And by doing that, the fretless just lead me to different things, because the fretless is like, hey, look, this is the sound, I'm this sound, not, you know, the stuff that I'm used to before. So I had to really adjust to it to get that sound. And then, of course, you gotta put a lot of work in order to get a lot of things from this instrument. You know, there's so much, but you just gotta spend time.
And you use this with collaboration. I see that you have your electric upright here, and you have all your other basses that are in this room that you might go with.
Yeah, these are all my family members. You know, you know, everybody represent everything different. Like when I'm doing recordings, I try different basses. You know, to make sure that, you know, the sound sits on the track, because that's my thing. I'm not really good at, you know, playing a bunch of things, but I do recordings a lot, and I play what's needed, and that's why I have all these instruments to give me exactly what, you know.
So you play for the song.
Yes, you know, because when you have a 5 minutes long song, and you have to know how to approach that song, and first it starts with the tone. You can play as many notes or whatever you play, but when the tone is not right, that song won't sound good. And me, I'm about the tone. That's why I drive my sponsors crazy to get a good quality bass, and you know, and but I got some good guys. With Kala, it's just amazing. Kala, they really think for generations and generations of people coming up, you know. And Kala, they've made ukuleles for years, and so now to come up with a bass ukulele, now as a bass player, you can join the ukulele family and play with them.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Would you like to give us some sound samples?
And then call me out soon. You know, they have that sound. You know, like when you listen to the original, you hear this sound.
That's the backwards part that
That's the backward parts that I had to learn. It took me about a secret. It took me about 2 years to learn.
You play that forwards, they flipped it on you, you had to learn it to play it backwards.
Yeah. And but you know, it changed the game, because also too, when I did the solo of Call Me Out, it was played on the fretless bass, so there was no fret noise, so it was much easier to turn the tape backwards to get that kind of solo. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
that's the solo that brought me to America. You know, it's amazing. 35 years later, I'm still
Wow.
here.
That's awesome. Well, Bakithi, those instruments sound great. You sound
Thank
great,
you.
as always. And I know you said that you have a new CD now. By the time this gets out, the CD will have dropped already. You have that new music coming out.
The CD is coming out tonight, actually. You know,
Oh.
at 9:45. It's gonna be.
Today's October 23rd.
23rd.
Yeah, so by the time that everybody sees this, it'll be available.
Yeah, it will be available, and it's gonna be available on Spotify, and then it's gonna be available on my website, which is called BakithiKumaloBass.com. And I'll show you the CD cover, and I'll give. So here's my new CD that's coming out tonight, October 23rd, 10 p.m. No, actually 9:45. It's closer to 10 p.m. And this is called Electric Flow. This is a single. I'm working on the whole record.
Excellent. Who's on that record with you right now?
I have a bunch of people. First, I have some couple of special guests. I have Dacia Gypsy, a freestyle rapper. And then also I have Maxfield Gast from Philadelphia, plays the saxophone. He's an amazing saxophone player. And he's got a couple of people from Philadelphia that play the piano. And then also Rodney Harris on drums from Long Island. And I played a bunch of stuff. I played the aerophone and I played some keyboards on it. Yeah.
Excellent.
So just ready to go. This is just a single that I just thought I should just put it out and not put out the whole CD now because of this pandemic.
That's actually a really great question. I know that we're talking about the Kala bass, but the Kala bass, you know, talking about life travel, as a musician who works on the road, with the way that the pandemic has affected life, do you feel that you feel creative in different ways right now because you're making the CD, you're putting out, you're writing more music, because travel isn't really a thing at the moment?
Well, you know, being a musician, we already have tools, but there are tools we use because we, you know, traveling and playing for people. But now when you're home, you use what you have. So the whole 7 months of this pandemic, I've been home and just creating and make sure that, you know, I take care of my instrument when I'm not playing, just take the strings off and clean it up and, you know, and do some stuff. And thinking about when this is gonna end so we can get out and play, because that's what we do, you know, we play for people. And if we don't play for people, then we kind of shut down. We don't have places to play right now because we can't invite a bunch of people. But it doesn't stop. As musicians, we gotta always keep creating, and learn about things that you didn't have time to learn about them before. Like now, I'm doing Zooming. I never thought I'd do Zooming, and I'll spend so much time on the computer, except when I'm recording. But now I'm teaching, and I'm talking to people on Zooming, and also I got my studio that I can create stuff. And so, you know, there's another thing. We learn to have, you know, to make some adjustment, because life is all about that now. You know, you gotta make some adjustment.
Absolutely. I love that. One of the things I know you and I talk about this a lot, but you have a real drive for education and making sure that the next generation has access and understanding to music. And I think that's something that I think the world should know what you're doing, because this platform allows us to share your what's really behind your soul and your spirit, what's driving you.
Right. You know, we learn to be teachers. First of all, where I grew up in South Africa, I really never went to school, never studied music. I just had to really hustle and go each and every town to look for the bass and learn to do that. My parents never bought me instruments, so I was really like, you know, I wanted to have the instrument. To play the instrument without having it, it was very hard for me. But so that led me to the younger people to say, look, you know what, the gift that I was given, so I can give it back to you, and I can show you how to do. Like I just put the music mentors. I put the music mentors about a couple of years ago in Long Island. Got this bunch of kids, and then we rehearsed for about 7 weeks, and then we did a show. And now these kids, they're writing their own music. They doing what they're doing, you know. So my thing is tell the kids that, hey, look, just love the music, and the music is going to help you because it saved my life. It can save you. But you just got to spend time with it and practice and not have a fear. Because sometimes, kids have fear. When they see you playing certain things, you're slapping, you're tapping, they get nervous, but you should not do that. And also, too, I'm not a music teacher, so I'm just a mentor to help the kids about the stuff that helped me. Spend time with your instrument, respect your instrument, and learn all kinds of music. Don't limit yourself. Just learn everything. And then also to learn without having the instrument. Just think about putting things together, because music is all about the calculation. So for me, it's very important to work with the younger people, including my own kids. And my kids too, they just gave me the green light, because teaching them and see them playing piano and playing guitar and then sometimes break my instruments, But I knew that, this is something good, so I can take this to another place. Now I just finished another one here in Pennsylvania with the Lehigh University.
That's awesome. And I know you use some local teachers with that as well.
Yeah, I got some really amazing. I got Dan Andres, a drummer from Lehigh, and then I got Will Smith from Long Island to put these kids together, to help them with this whole thing. And these kids are talented. I mean, I tell you, they used to challenge me every time, I show up at the rehearsal. They're like, Mr. Kumalo, listen to this. Special bass players,
Is there a website that people can support your work?
Well, my website it's Bakithi Kumalo.
And there's a link to the music mentors program that you have set up.
Yeah, it says, or you can go to Lehigh University website.
And there's a link on the website.
Zona, it's all over. It's everywhere.
So Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Very
Because
cool.
I work with Lehigh University. They gave us the venue to use this, and then also they helped me to send newsletters to the schools to get these kids interested.
And that's probably through the Zollner Hall, right?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your instruments and your life with us at Bass
you,
Musician
Steve.
Magazine. We do appreciate that, and we love you, and we want to make sure that...
I'm just so grateful to be here in Pennsylvania. I thank my kids because they picked the schools here. I lived in Long Island for about 15 years. And then my kids, they picked the schools here because also my family members, they live in Lansdale. So then I came here. It was really hard when I came here because there's not much. Long Island, I can just walk to Starbucks, and here you have to take a drive to 33 and go to Starbucks and everything. But what I had to understand is not about what you used to, it's about accepting what the other places give. I didn't know there's so much here in Bethlehem, and I'm loving it, and I think I'm here forever now.
I know we truly appreciate you here.
And of course, this is like Victor Bailey once told me, says, Pennsylvania, it's the state, it's a bass state. Every bass player that I know from Pennsylvania is unbelievable, and I'm just so grateful and honored to be here.
Well, thank you again for having us over to your place, and thank you for demoing these awesome instruments. We're going to make sure that we have have Kala Bass's link on our website, so you can check these out for yourself.
Yeah, and then also one more thing before I forget, also what makes really my bass sound to sound much better too, because I'm using the Cordial Cable Pro. This is a Cordial cable, which is amazing. It just changed the game because of the quality, all the handmade and everything. So.
Absolutely. Cables definitely work as a low-pass filter, so
yeah.
If you have it set properly, the right cable can change the whole tone of the instrument.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for having us.
Thank you, Steve.
It was a pleasure. Guys, thanks again for tuning in with me, Steve the Bass Guy, and Bass Musician Magazine. Today was a great opportunity to hang out with Bakithi Kumalo and check out his Kala basses. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. I really did enjoy having you guys check that out. So make sure that you check back into Bass Musician Magazine regularly and see what we have cooking.